Hello, spooky friends. Thank you for tuning into another episode of Spooky Chicks and Horror Flicks. We're your horror besties, here to dissect our favorite and not so favorite horror movies, breaking down the screams, the scares, and everything sinister scene by scene. I am Emma, and joining me, as always, is Madame Ali.
Madame Ali or Madame Web?
Oh, wait. I think that was a terrible movie.
You know, Dakota Johnson.
But Dakota Johnson,
Yeah.
that is a degree away from her appearance in the newer Suspiria.
Yeah, forget 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon or whatever. 7 degrees of Dakota Johnson.
Whoops, whoops.
Yeah, whoops is right. Emma, what have you been up to?
Oh, goodness. What have I been up to? Lots and lots of movies recently, which I think everyone hopefully is excited to hear. I've seen Obsession. I've seen Backrooms. I've seen Passenger. I have seen The Devil Wears Prada 2. I will have seen when this comes out, Disclosure Day, which I'm very excited to see. But anyways, what have you been up to?
You guys, let me tell you, I've been having a fucking Sean Paul summer. And if you don't understand what that means, I can't help you. It's truly a feeling and you just have to vibe with it. You know or you don't. You either like temperature or you don't.
I was just gonna.
I saw you, your body.
I was bopping.
You were bopping already.
I'm like, we be burning it 'cause we're
Also, there's another song that I also forget is a Sean Paul song. Baby boy used to on my mind, fulfill my fantasy. That baby boy, that's a Sean Paul song.
I think about you all the time. I see you in my dreams.
Jeff Ball says something here. Yeah, it's an.
That was incredible.
So I'm having a Sean Paul summer, which means
Can I
I'm
have
just
one with you?
absolutely anybody is welcome to join. I am just living my best life. Is what that means.
Wow.
That means I'm going on a million vacations. I just got back from Hawaii. I just got back from a dude ranch, which was amazing.
That looked so fucking fun.
Let me tell you, I was queen of the ranch. I tore up my looks up and down.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a fantastic, like very just calm, cool, collected, happy dude ranch experience.
Did you carry any watermelons?
I didn't. And I also didn't carry 2 at the same time, trying to cross a bridge.
Okay, missed opportunity.
Missed
next
opportunity. Maybe that's why I didn't end up in the dance club.
I think that's what would really take you to the next level of your Sean Paul summer.
That's absolutely, so I got to do that next time. However, I'm just loving this Sean Paul summer.
Do you want to tell us what film we are covering today?
Absolutely. I have a lot of thoughts about this film, as you do too, I'm sure. Today we're covering 1977. Is that right? That is right.
Yes.
1977, not 2018.
Correct.
Suspiria.
And you and I both had not seen this film.
Literally almost no context, if you will.
Mm-hmm. Same. I did know that it was about dancers. I sort of put it in the same category as Black Swan in a lot of ways,
Yes.
which probably isn't correct now that I've seen it.
I equate it to Center Stage meets Willy Wonka.
But it also has possession vibes.
Yes, very much so.
But yeah, like what were your first thoughts?
I too had almost no frame of reference, except for it's made by Dario Argento, and that's a prolific name in the film, not only horror, but film community.
Yeah.
So I obviously have heard of this, known of Dario Argento. That's a hard one for me to say. I also know Dakota Johnson, and I know they talk about this movie in Juno, and I know that Mikey from my local dispensary has been asking me to watch this for months now. So Mikey, shout out, I finally watched it. But I'm not sure if Mikey has seen this version or Dakota Johnson version.
This film, I can't wait to watch it like several more times because I think I'm going to have a lot of thoughts about it as I keep watching it. I also was just like, oh, I don't really know what I'm watching here. I'm going totally just like open and blind. It surprised me in a lot of ways.
I don't know what I expected because I've not seen either, but there was no dancing. Where was the dancing?
I was just about to say I was expecting a little bit. I wanted a dance number.
Yeah.
But maybe that's just me.
I hear that in the newer one, they get a dance number, but it's spliced in with some very unpleasant imagery. But we're not talking about that version today. We're talking about this 1977 version, which I think was such an interesting film to me. Again, we're not...
Which?
Sorry.
Sorry. Go ahead. Keep going.
It's like when you go to a baby shower and you're not supposed to say baby.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
I always lose that game and I always want to win.
I never win anything, so I expect nothing. I'm like, take my clothespin, God damn it. Somebody should win. So I thought this movie was almost like too straightforward. Like, we think there are witches. Oh shit, there are witches. But then I realized this is an Italian film that's less about the story and it's definitely more about the style. And once I was like, okay, it's just pretty things, then I'm like, okay, I'm on this acid trippy ride. Sure.
Yeah. It in a weird way too, it kind of reminded me with all the coloring and stuff of Mandy, which is a newer film that stars Nicolas Cage. And if you guys have not seen that, that is also an acid trip in itself, but it's fantastic. But this film is about an American newcomer to a prestigious German ballet academy who comes to realize that the school is just a front for something sinister amid a series of grisly murders. This film was originally released in Italy on February 1st, 1977.
Again, that's the same year as Star Wars for some context.
Yeah, so big year.
Big year, I'd say.
Something else, too, that's interesting here is that nearly all of the actors' dialogue was actually dubbed in post-production, which is a common practice in Italian filmmaking at this time. It was so common that most Italian films used to be shot entirely without sound, and the dubbing industry in Italy was just absolutely huge and culturally significant for almost half a century.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. You can, again, we're not used to Italian films, but this is just part of that culture. Because they had actors from all walks of life. So speaking many different languages, they would say, come say the script in your native tongue. It doesn't matter. We're just going to dub right over it. Some of the actors who were native Italian speakers tried speaking it in English because it's an English film. So it's almost like it matches up just almost
slightly.
So it's like you're coloring just outside the lines.
Yeah.
And it makes it look uncanny valley-like, so a little bit creepier. It just makes it a little bit more creepy, you know.
I also, when I learned this, couldn't help but think of how was that when the actors were talking to each other? Because if you didn't know Italian or you didn't know German or you didn't know English and you have a scene opposite someone with a different language than you, like, I mean, I think that they did a really good job, but I just was curious, like how, because it's harder to bounce off each other if you can't even understand what the other person is saying, even if you have studied the script and know it from like your native language.
Absolutely. To me, I feel like there's so little dialogue in this film that it almost doesn't matter.
That's true. That's true.
It's like witch and then like die.
And actually, that's a great segue into something else I was going to bring up, which is this film, Suspiria, is a masterpiece. It's considered a masterpiece of Italian horror that revolutionized the genre by prioritizing what we call sensory dread. So there was like a lot of vibrant expressionistic color palettes and hypnotic like dream logic that was just over the conventional sort of narrative plot logic. And this helped pave the way for atmospheric modern horror. So this really was like, I'm going to go ahead and lean into colors. And as we know, lots of sounds. Love the Goblin crew.
We must talk about Goblin.
I'm getting that soundtrack immediately.
So bitchin'.
So good.
So speaking on the colors a little bit, I definitely noticed that right out the box. And David, who I watched this with, my brother, friend of the pod, guest of the pod, go listen to Evil Dead if you haven't listened to that episode yet. He told me there's a term for this blue and red color we see throughout the film, and this coloring we see is called bisexual lighting. And I thought he was making it up. No, it's a thing.
Oh, I've never heard of that.
Yeah, so we see that throughout, and it goes pretty hand in hand with this Italian film style that gets brought up a lot when reference to this movie is giallo film style, and that's talking about a film genre that contains mystery, thriller, psychological aspects, and this has a lot of giallo elements, but giallos technically have it's like a mystery, who done it. And technically this film doesn't have that aspect, but this movie is likened to a giallo film a lot. And Dario Argento is known for giallo films, although this movie, Suspiria, which he's arguably most known for, is very much so unlike the rest of his films. This crayon does not fit in this box of his.
Something else that is very, very obvious is how well and how loved this film is. This film has pretty amazing ratings. I mean, it has a 7.3 out of 10 on IMDb.
The tomato meter says 94%. Fucking crazy. Popcorn meter is 82%, while Letterboxd is 3.9. Those are insane scores.
That is pretty good. And I'm going to get into this a little bit later, but I'm going to say I don't agree with a lot of them, which might surprise you guys, but
I mean, I'm right there with you, partner, which might not surprise you guys.
Like, less surprising from you. Like, this film is really considered such a, I don't want to call it like a cult horror classic because I don't think it's necessarily like a cult horror favorite, but it really is like a 70s horror favorite.
I think it birthed a genre that we have also seen die.
Yeah,
and now, which is called, this neo-giallo, whatever we're calling this. It's a style of movie that it no longer really, they don't make them anymore.
Yeah.
They don't make them like they used to.
I didn't know until I looked it up and did some more research after the fact, but this film is actually the first installment of Dario Argento's anthology trilogy called The Three Mothers. And The Three Mothers consists of Suspiria, 1980's Inferno, and 2007's The Mother of Tears. And so each one of these films within the trilogy deals with one of the titular, like, quote unquote, mothers, which are stories of ancient evil witches whose powerful magic allows them to manipulate world events on a global scale. So, like, okay, well, that's like terrifying. But
you know how Kevin Smith wanted to do his trilogy and he didn't make it past 2?
I know.
So maybe this is what he was trying to do.
Yeah.
And he didn't.
I think so. He just needed a dance movie to round it out.
This movie didn't even have fucking dancing.
Maybe there's other. We haven't seen those other two ones, so we don't know.
A witch movie.
A witch. Something else kind of interesting here too is that, like, this film, it focuses very much on, I would say, like, young adults, almost like college age. But initially in the script, the characters in the film were supposed to be young girls around 12 years old. But the film's producers were wary of making a film with young characters being killed. So again, this is like late 70s. That was probably very taboo to have children dying in films.
Brother, is that concept not just The Witches by Roald Dahl?
Okay, girl. That is all I could even think about.
Down to like the ballroom, the hall, the dance room, whatever.
When I was watching this with a producer, that is all I could think about. And thank you for bringing that up because we are so on the same page. So
even like them being rat-like in that hairy ass arm, I'm like, it's just the witches.
I'm a hello. Is that Angelica Houston?
Hello?
Is she here?
Anne Hathaway? Oof.
Yeah. Well, and despite all of this, though, Dario, he agreed to cast adults, but he didn't want to change the screenplay to have more mature dialogue. So hence why the dialogue, I think, is just very minimal. It's not anything like groundbreaking. And the script itself, too, was also written a little bit like a fairy tale. So this contributed to its very simple plot line with very surface level characters. And they used a lot of dream logic while filming it, too, as well, where nothing just in general feels very real. They use very intense colors. There's lots of different angles of the places where the characters are having their scenes. And Dario Argento was also very inspired by Alice in Wonderland, which once I found that out, I'm like, oh yeah, I can absolutely see the influence in this film.
And Alice in Wonderland is terrifying.
Oh yeah. And it's dreamlike. Yep. People argue it makes you feel like you're kind of on drugs, / maybe the people that made Alice in Wonderland were on drugs. Who knows?
I hope they were.
But this whole thing just led Suspiria to being known for its very stylistic flourishes. So this style, like you had already alluded to, just became a very big like Dario Argento trademark. And specifically the elaborate set designs in the production and the cinematography emphasizing these vivid and overwhelming primary colors, particularly red. All of this was very intentional, and it also just created this deliberately unrealistic kind of nightmarish setting. And I even went on TikTok after watching the film, and I was like, I want to see what people are saying like on TikTok about it. And the amount of people that just have funny little parody videos using red lighting just made me laugh. Like, it's just so funny that's such a standout thing in this film.
It really is, and we can talk about it when it shows up, but it almost took me out of the film because that lighting is no longer intended for what this film intended it for. That lighting is now so different.
Yeah.
So it took me out of the film.
Yeah, it does take you out a little bit. It's a bit jarring.
Yeah.
Which, if you see a movie like Mandy, for instance, that I referenced earlier, and I'm referencing it clearly too because I just watched it very recently again, but so much red. there's a lot of red. And red it in itself can mean a lot of different things. It can mean rage. It can be compared to blood. It can
signify even a different
love.
Person, okay, or someone else's perspective, like in, I mean, we just saw that in Cabin Fever when it was the dogs.
So yeah, there's a lot of different, it's definitely fluid in what the meaning of it is, but it can also make you feel like slightly uncomfortable, which I think like a lot of the goal of this movie was.
I think the shock of the color and the noise and the patterns, all of the shock of everything put together is doing its job of making you feel unsettled. Like, what the fuck is happening?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Sensory overload.
And on that note, Allison, should we go ahead and just
dance our way into this academy?
Well, somebody's got to fucking dance here.
Literally, someone has to.
Get your ass up right now.
Let's fucking dance.
I'm going to spin you around.
Let's dance.
Let's dance. Well, cheers to Suspiria.
Cheers.
Suspiria opens with some pretty intense like drumming, and then it transitions to some pretty intense just like overall music, and then almost goes like directly into a lullaby, and you're just like hit in the face with it as the opening credits are happening.
Talk about bisexual lighting. The red and the blue are just like, hello. And the music that we're slapped with is amazing. We're introduced to Goblin, and I think this is like what they're known for is composing films, and this is arguably their most known soundtrack.
It is so good, and throughout the film, there are times when it's jarring, and it adds so much to it. It's kind of hard to explain unless you listen to it, but like I did immediately want to buy the soundtrack after this.
Like I couldn't tell you right now what it sounds like, but I could tell you it's bitchin'.
Yeah, it's so good. In the beginning of this movie too, like Suspiria's main title song, it's supposed to resemble what an old music box sounds like. And, you know, as we all know, like music box usually feature a ballerina. So I love that little connection there too. Something else that's like kind of a funny, just fun fact is that John Carpenter, he's a huge fan of Suspiria, and it partially influenced his score for Halloween. Now I want to buy that soundtrack as well and just play them both and hear the influence.
Well, that sounds like a acid. Like we should do ayahuasca and do that.
I'm ready. So we then hear a narrator, and he is introducing our first character and main character, Susie Banyan from America, and how she has decided to go to Germany to dance at the academy, and the academy is the Tanz Academy.
I love how, okay, so this, like you just said, there's a narrator, but then we don't have a narrator like ever again. And they just tell us at the top of the movie, this is what you need to know.
This is it.
It's not like a fun exposition moment. It's just like, here it is.
And we don't hear the narrator ever again.
No, right. And that's what I'm going back to. This style of film is just simple. It's like just like, here's the plot. There's no deeper meaning.
Here's what you need to know. You don't need to think too hard.
Yeah, this is what it is.
Then we see her, and she is now arriving in Germany. So she's arriving. She has, landed in the airport, and she is faced immediately with a pretty violent, like, thunderstorm. One other thing before we move on to, I want to mention that, God damn it, I loved the airport attire back then.
Can we talk about this? I was talking to my husband, Kevin, about this, talking about how people used to dress up for the airport. It used to be a to-do. Your coats, your gloves, your hats. And now I wear my sweats.
I want to be so comfortable. I'm taking a flight in a couple weeks, next week actually, that is less than 2 hours, and I want to be the comfiest bitch on that plane.
I complain about everybody being slobs on planes. Meanwhile, I am a slob on a plane. But like,
I am said slob.
It used to be you dress up.
Yeah.
And Susie definitely dressed up.
Can I say, this is kind of a deep cut, but I always think about that scene in The Shining when Halloran is flying back to Colorado because he feels the vibes are off, and he's like, I gotta go check on, Wendy and Danny. And you see him on the plane, and he's all in this like nice little outfit. I think he's getting like a little cocktail, but they also have like plenty of leg room. I mean, I know it's a fucking movie, but like this was how it was back then. Like people just, you like went on the plane to get where you were going, and you got right off, and you finished your day.
Well, no, it was like a to-do. Like it was a fashion show. You didn't show up in your fucking Lululemons.
So getting back into the film, though, as Susie, now she's outside. She's like, oh, shit, it's stormy. Got to get a taxi. This taxi, like, takes her through the rain-soaked almost forest. And upon, like, arriving at this ballet academy, also very red, like the building itself.
So the building looks fake.
It does.
It looks like
a facade.
A facade. So because it is, but the building it's based off of looks that fake. Oh. It's like based off a real building and it looks like that.
I don't doubt that. I think sometimes in Europe, like the way that things were constructed and whatnot, it doesn't always make like a ton of sense.
So speaking from my very little knowledge, because of the war and how everything was bombed in Germany, they rebuilt it. And I've actually been, and it looks like almost like Duloc, like fake.
Oh.
Fake new redone, because it is all new and redone. Everything was bombed, and so they had to rebuild. So they get to pick what it looked like, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, I can attest that there is a story, almost a Hansel and Gretel like feeling to Germany.
Oh yeah, I bet. And as Susie arrives at the academy, she's immediately met with a terrified young student who like flings open the door. And this is when we're introduced to Pat Hingle. Pat is like whispering a couple weird things, not really acknowledging Susie because she's got bigger fish to fry. And she just like takes off and flees the building. And she appears like super frantic and just like runs away into the storm.
Can we talk about why everybody in the 70s says, hello? Like that. Susie stands at the door and she goes, hello? And that's like Claire from Black Christmas.
Oh my God.
I heard the way she says it. What is that? I just have to say.
Just the 70s, man.
Man, hello?
This is before we had hi, hey, sup, dude.
What?
We were still saying hello
no,
fully.
Not like that. Hello?
So after Pat like runs off and Susie's like, okay, like she doesn't really like worry too much about it, but she tries to get back into the building because fucking Pat closed the door behind her instead of letting Susie in. Susie is denied entry and like forced to leave. As Susie drives away, she also sees Pat like running frantically through the forest.
This kind of is a vibe. It looks jarring to Susie, who's in the car driving away, watching Pat just like kind of run almost like what are those black things that float in Harry Potter? Deathly Hallows? No.
Oh, the, what are they called?
Dementor?
Dementors.
So Pat running through this forest looks like a Dementor running through the Forbidden Forest, if that's what it's called.
I feel like the style also invokes a little bit of a feeling of folk horror. So kind of similar to what you just pointed out too. Like, do you feel like that's valid?
Yeah. I mean, you guys, we've recorded, this is number 3 podcast of the day. So you referenced The Witch earlier, and I can't remember which podcast that was in, but it looks like a witch's forest.
Yeah. It definitely, I think it kind of sets us up almost subconsciously, from the moment of like, okay, why is this girl running out in the middle of a storm and she's like running through the woods?
What I must say too is it's kind of a vibe, and maybe she just wants to run through the woods.
Hey, more power to her.
Yeah.
Suddenly, we then see Pat, and she enters another building where she's decided to stay for the night with like a friend.
Having, again, not seen this movie and having no context and just jumping right into the movie, you're really just met with crazy visuals. It's these colors, these sets are amazing. Yeah. It feels like Kubrickian. It feels like The Shining. I feel like I'm at the Overlook almost. The sets are that ornate. And we see that throughout this entire film, these crazy ornate sets. And I really do think this movie is just about the style and not the story.
Yeah. And this building in particular too, it's like red and it's got this like crazy blue interior as well. So it's just like a lot going on, and it just like hits you in the face. There's no subtlety here.
It reminds me, I went to this beautiful place in Barcelona one time, and they had this blue room. You walk in and it's just like, hi, I'm blue.
Ooh, okay.
It's beautiful. And so is this blue.
Oh, I love that.
Yep.
So the friend that Pat stays with, she's like trying to make her feel better about quote unquote like getting kicked out of school. But Pat's like, I didn't get kicked out, but like also doesn't give her full story just yet. And then the friend is like, well, you can stay here. You can stay in this room, like get comfortable and whatnot. But you can tell that when Pat's alone, she's still like fully freaked out, almost like someone is chasing after her. But again, we still at this point in the story don't know what exactly is happening. Before Pat even has like a chance to like fully tell her friend what is making her so scared, Pat is then attacked in the room that she's staying in by someone or something bursting through the window with like a hairy fucking arm and then stabbing her multiple times.
This, mind you, we're like 3 minutes into the film. I was immediately like, what the fuck? Like, what is this? What is this wolf arm? But that's what it looks like. It looks like a crazy ass wolf arm coming through a wall.
And meanwhile, her friend is like trying to get help from neighboring apartments, but no one is answering. She has like run out and she's like, help, there's like a murderer, something's happening. And literally like no one is to be found.
I love how this friend is screaming that there is a murderer, but she can't see inside the room. She just is.
She's right to the point though.
Yeah, but she doesn't know that there's a murderer happening.
That's true.
She's like, there's a murderer. There's a murderer. What? Bitch, you don't know?
Hey, we don't know how many other previous murders, though, happened.
Damn, don't go to the school.
Yeah, maybe she's guessing. Then in one of horror's, like, arguably most famous murder sequences, little Miss Pat, she is hanged through the stained glass skylight. And this is a two-parter because she gets hanged in the skylight. That is already jarring to see. That is a very intense scene, but also like weirdly beautiful with all of like the stained glass. Then we get a shot that goes like down onto the ground and we see that the falling glass has killed her friend below. And this whole sequence is just, it is intentionally excessive. It is like so crazy.
It's like Lisa Frank and Satan just threw up on a room. Like, I'm obsessed with how beautiful it is. It's just it really is excessive. It's just like, let's put all of the patterns and colors in one room.
What was your reaction to this stained glass sequence? Were you like, holy shit? Or were you just like, damn, that's pretty?
Literally, in the best way and the worst way, I thought it was just so pretty.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, I wonder how many times it took them to do this.
Yeah.
You know, I was just thinking about how they did this practically and thinking about how they set it up. What'd you think?
I tried to put myself in the 70s for a hot minute. As soon as Pat was hung, I thought about how many times has that been seen on screen? Because even though it had, I forget exactly when The Omen came out, but you remember like the maid gets hung.
Yeah.
I can't remember if I think that was.
The Omen was 76.
Yeah, so that was right before this, and there was also a hanging scene in that. So it's not like it was the first time people are seeing it, but like I also don't know what that was like in Italy. Did people see that a lot in Italy? I don't know.
That's a great point.
And so I put myself in like in my little 70s shoes and was thinking of if I was in the theater watching that, what would my reaction be?
That's such a good point, is talking about films, older films versus newer films. Like, it's harder for us to relate because we weren't there.
So then the next day we see a blind man and it's actually a really cute scene in my opinion where he's like walking up to the school. It's like sun shining. He's got a seeing eye dog and he's like in a tux.
He's like the most wholesome part of the movie to me.
Yeah.
And I started casting this movie for a new remake and without any context, I'm gonna tell you, Hudson Williams plays. This guy's name is Daniel. Our visually impaired man, his name's Daniel. Hudson Williams, Daniel.
Okay, so I didn't know who that was at first because I have not seen
Heated Rivalry.
Heated Rivalry just yet.
You're heated.
I am.
You're heated.
But like now that I've Googled him, I could see it. When
you see Heated Rivalry, the vibe will make more sense.
Okay, and I'll get back to you on this casting.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah.
For those of you listening that understand, let me know.
Yeah.
I need positive affirmation all the time.
So we find out, though, that this man is the pianist. So he is the one that is always playing the music when the students are, dancing. And at the same time, Susie also returns to the school, and she's finally welcomed into the academy with no idea what had happened to Pat the night before. Inside the school, we are faced with some familiar colors that we've already seen throughout the beginning of the film. These bright reds, blues, this impossible lighting.
So bisexual.
So bisexual.
I just it's an actual term.
I love
bisexual lighting.
She then meets some of the instructors, and they are pretty polished, very regimented, and she first meets Miss Tanner. Then right after that, she meets Madame Blanc.
A couple notes about these women. Miss Tanner is played by Alida Valli, and she was actually, at the time, during the fascist regime, she was considered to be the most beautiful Italian woman to Mussolini.
Oh, okay.
So she's got that going for her.
Okay, girl.
Yeah. Madame Blanc is played by Joan Bennett, but when your brain works like mine does, you keep reading Jean Bonnet.
Okay, tell me why the producer said the exact fucking thing to me. When I was looking up Joan Bennett, he goes, Jean Bonnet? He's all, did they find her? I'm all, Jesus Christ. Do they know who did it? That's what he kept saying to me. That is so funny that you brought that up. He literally said the same fucking thing.
Tell me why.
Anyways. Susie, I mean, she's meeting these like instructors and leaders of the dance academy, and she's then learns about Pat's murder and that apparently Pat was quote unquote expelled.
Sure, Jan.
Yeah.
Sure.
Just as Susie is about to go on a tour with Miss Tanner, she does overhear Madame Blanc say...
You mean Jean Bonnet?
She's talking to some police officers that are there about when like Pat was last seen. And Susie sort of jumps into the conversation to corroborate that, you know, she agrees with the time, which was about 11 p.m. was when Susie had showed up the night prior and when she saw Pat leave. Then Miss Tanner takes Susie upstairs to where she meets Pavlo, the handyman, along the stairs. And I just like, this is so sad for poor Pavlo. But she's like, oh yeah, he's a really ugly guy.
No, like literally to his face, like basically asking him to agree, like, you're ugly, huh?
And she's like, his teeth were so fucked up that he got them all pulled. But now he looks so handsome with his new teeth, which are, no offense, but scary.
And okay, two things. I think his style inspo is Nosferatu. His movements and his actions are so Nosferatu. Also, very much so Rainfield. But in my recasting, and in the nicest way possible, because I love this man, in my version of this is Pavlo, is who I also keep saying is Pavlov.
That's okay. I get it. My brain was working the same way.
I think a lot of people think that as well. But in my version, this would be played by David Dastmalchian.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Yep. I fully agree, though. I think David Dastmalchian would kill in that role. So then Miss T, she takes Susie to the locker room where she meets all the other girls, including Olga, who she is apparently supposed to be renting a room from outside of the academy, which there's like a little drama with this in the very beginning. It's very slight, but it's like she was under the impression, Susie, that she was going to be staying at the academy. That's like what her room and board is for. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh, we don't have room for you. You're going to stay with this other girl outside of campus. And then later, just a day later, she's then going to be back in the academy. So like Susie's like, what the fuck?
Also, I'm not exactly sure the point of that back and forth, but yeah, I digress. I don't know if there is a point to anything that happens. There really isn't. But I don't know if you caught this when Miss Tanner is bringing Susie into the locker room. This other woman, we don't know who this young woman is. She comes up directly and goes, Miss Tanner, I have something to tell you. And says it all sexy. And I'm like, this is sexy. Okay.
It's also like sexy, awkward, like teacher's pet. It reminds me of teacher's pet because I think that same person later is going to come up and be like, what class am I supposed to be in, Miss Tanner?
You're so right.
You know, or she's just in love with Miss Tanner.
Someone's got to be.
Miss Tanner also reminds me of the gal who plays the
Miss
like
Trunchbull?
No, she you remember 50 First Dates?
Fuck yeah,
when
I
he
do.
works with the penguins.
I just
and there's
watched
that
that.
like what's her name? I forget what her name is, like Helga or whatever.
It's like Olga.
What is it? Producer's looking it up right now.
I just watched it when I was in Hawaii.
Miss Tanner reminds me 100% of this gal. And me and the producer said it at the same time when we were watching this.
You think?
1000%.
Alexa.
Alexa.
The girl who plays Alexa is super hot.
But like Alexa in that role is Miss Tanner. I'm so sorry. I can't not see it.
It's a combination of something from The Sound of Music and Miss Trunchbull.
Yeah.
Also, can we all agree that Olga is going to be a problem for me?
Yeah.
And everyone else. She's giving Angelina Jolie in Girl Interrupted, and that's such my vibe.
In the best way.
In the best way. She's going to be an issue. Yeah,
she seems like that girl that's like kind of like, oh, I'll befriend you, but I'm also going to kind of like be a bully to you.
1,000,000%. You have to have one of those. Yeah.
But nevertheless, Susie befriends fellow student Sarah. And Sarah's like actually the opposite of Olga. And there's some very like interesting girl dynamics happening here.
Susie just be sitting in the middle of all these women, and she's like, "What the fuck did I get myself into?" These girls just be yapping at each other, and we get this tight shot of Susie. Just her face is like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah. I also have a question here, like, why is no one talking about Pat's disappearance and murder? Because even if the students don't know at this point that Pat has actually been murdered, there's still a disappearance, right?
Yeah, but if you didn't come to dance class, I'd be like, you're hung. I mean, I wouldn't say this, but like, it could be a million different things.
Well, and I guess if the other students think that she got quote unquote expelled too, like they're not going to question necessarily her whereabouts. But I'm sorry, but when there are police down in your like main room of the academy.
Were there police?
Yeah, they were questioning Madame Blanc. That's like when Susie cut in and was like, hey, I did see Pat last night. Yeah, it's just like such a random little... You know.
Susie seems like a square.
I don't even know if it's a square necessarily, but it's like, you know, you're in a foreign country. You're still trying to like get your legs, you know, and see, no pun intended with this being a dance academy, but you are just trying to figure out like what the hell's even going on, you know? Can you imagine traveling to a foreign country in the 70s with no cell phone, no friends, no parents, nothing, and there isn't even TVs on the fucking plane? Like, I'm sorry, but we're spoiled as fucking shit now. I can't imagine. I would be terrified. I was thinking about Susie being just merely in the taxi, and the taxi taking her to the academy when she got out of the airport. You don't know GPS. You don't know if he's even fucking taking you where he's supposed to take you.
No, I know.
Sorry, tangent, but like, oh my God.
So that's what I say that all the time, though. Even when we talked about Cabin Fever, I said they don't have cell phones.
Yeah.
And we're not even that far removed from that time. We printed out our directions. And what I will say, though, is the whole concept of it, and I think this is what they were getting at. I hope this is what they were. The whole point of the style and the music and I think it's like sexy.
Oh, it's so sexy.
So I think like that's what they're trying to get at. And going to a foreign dance academy, hella sexy. Oh my God.
And I mean, this film does involve witches and a coven. And like, then like being young and being beautiful. And ballet is inherently sexy, beautiful dancing. And it invokes a lot of emotion. And there's a lot of
emotion. Yeah. You're right. Movement is sexual.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Dancing is sexual.
Very much so. Have you seen Dirty Dancing?
Oh my God.
Hey.
Hungry eyes is right. So yeah, all of that mixed together is inherently sexy. And I think it's a cool, and it's funny because I think Maxine is a really good modern nod to this style of film.
Yeah. Ooh,
with
I didn't
the
even
color
think of that. Yeah.
and the concept. And Maxine is a sexy film in a very different way.
Yeah.
This is more like deadpan sexy.
Definitely.
But I think of anything I got from this movie was sexiness.
Yeah. It was just so sexy.
Sexy.
So moving on, later when she's able to kind of settle in at Olga's place, she meets her first male friend student man, Mark.
Mark's a problem. Just gotta say it.
Mark is a problem.
Mark's a problem for me. Mark and Olga, problems.
They've got like a weird dynamic. And after Mark leaves, Susie finds out from Olga that apparently Mark is kind of known for not really having enough money for room and board at the school, and that Miss Tanner always makes him like run a bunch of errands. Like, for instance, he brought up Susie's bags.
I love everything about Olga. Her whole apartment is such a vibe. It's not like the vibe of the dance academy. It's very her own. It's her personality. We don't like learn much about Olga or anything. We're setting up for character development. We don't get much of it. But Olga is my queen.
Yeah, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like we're gonna not see a lot more of Olga after this.
We like literally don't.
Which is really shitty because I would have thought she would have been like more present, but again, we're kind of missing a lot of plot in this film.
The movie does lack plot.
Yeah.
And I don't think they wanted plot. They just wanted to put pretty things on a screen, and that's fine. Just like Olga is a pretty thing on a screen. She's a great actress.
So once Mark leaves, Olga and Susie, they are also able to talk a little bit about Pat's murder, because apparently now it has come out that she was in fact murdered. So it seems like that's like public knowledge. And Susie mentions to Olga that Pat was saying some really weird words that she kind of couldn't make out when she had seen Pat at the front door that previous night. And some of the words were secret and iris, which seems to make Olga almost a little bit uncomfortable, almost like she knows a little bit more than she's letting on.
This whole movie, all the characters we encounter at this academy seem like they know something that we don't know yet or are not meant to know. Also, I don't know, did you watch the movie trailer for this?
Oh, I saw a clip.
Okay.
And it looked fucking crazy.
It's super weird and has nothing to do with the movie.
Yeah, which was kind of like what I love about it.
Yeah, they used to, I feel like a lot of either genres or movies used to do that where the trailer has literally, it's just a marketing, hey, come see the movie. So this trailer is like just a bunch of odd visuals and saying words about like irises and stuff like that. Secrets, irises, whatever. But it's super, I suggest you watch it. It's so weird.
Yeah. I saw a clip of it and I'm like, I need to watch like the entire thing. I'm very intrigued.
I know I just said literally nothing, but it's just so
But you said so much
weird.
at the same time.
It has nothing to do with the movie and it's just so random and weird.
Then back at the academy, Susie is experiencing her first day of class and she gets interrupted by Madame Blanc saying that her room at the academy is now ready. And Susie's like, wait, I literally just got settled at Olga's. There's no need for me to do that. I can just stay at Olga's. I don't mind. She's also paid Olga her first week. She's like, it's okay. I prefer to stay at Olga's. But then Madame Blanc is like, no, you're going to stay here. And after that whole exchange happens, Miss Tanner then comes up to her and gives her sort of a weird compliment about her being strong-willed.
Yeah, she basically said, good for you for being a stubborn little bitch.
Yeah. And then that's the end of that. Then we start seeing how Susie she's struggling a little bit to adjust to life at the academy. And this isn't a bad thing by any means. It's literally just her first day. Someone's already been fucking murdered. She's in a foreign country. But from her perspective, it's like everything seems a little bit strange. And she starts almost experiencing kind of weird things.
It's like a bad acid trip. We get this shot of Susie walking down what I can only describe as a Guillermo del Toro hallway.
Oh, okay. I like that.
But we also see this, what I now know is she's a cook at the dance academy, but she looks like in 13 Ghosts when there's the big baby and the mom.
She looks like the mom.
She looks like the mom. And right next to this weird woman who is blowing a whistle or something that starts to glow, right next to this mom is this little page boy looking fuck who my mom has named or dubbed Little Fauntleroy.
Oh.
And I'm like, Ariana Grande, is that you? Have you seen that SNL where she's a little page boy?
Yes.
That's exactly what this kid looks like. And Ariana wants her outfit back. But so all of these things are fucking daunting.
I love it.
And like I said, this witch cook woman is blowing this shiny object or knife or whatever, and it starts to give Susie a headache. Susie starts to react immediately.
It's really weird. And she also starts to she begins hearing whispers and just overall kind of feeling ill. Back in class, she's still not feeling super well, and she asks Miss T if she can rest a bit.
And this is a scene where I was like, Hudson Williams must play Daniel. Daniel's our piano player again, and the way he just starts playing the piano is so much sass and so much energy. It's Hudson Williams in my version of this movie. And again, I have to reiterate, I'm so impressed with the style of the visual style of the film. It's just not how my brain works.
Yeah, same.
At all. And I don't possess that artful mind. I have a creative brain in a different way, but who thinks of this? Just the colors they put together, the patterns. It's just a movie that's about pretty things.
If we are analyzing it from a purely stylistic perspective, it's brilliant.
Yeah.
It truly is brilliant, and it brings a lot to the table. So Miss T, she doesn't let Susie rest because she, quote unquote, wants to see what she can do. And so Susie's like, okay, I literally feel like I'm going to pass out, but sure. She dances until she inevitably passes out. And then all of a sudden just has blood coming right out of her nose and mouth. Then later in the infirmary, we have a really interesting scene. As she's being seen by, it's actually one of the professors. It's not even a doctor, we find out. We have Miss T is there. I'm going to call that Miss T is Miss Tanner. Madame Blanc is there.
Like Mr. T?
Yeah. Like ice tea.
Ice tea.
they're playing it off kind of like nothing super serious is happening. And even the professor who is helping out, I think his name is Professor Vertigast. He's like, oh, she probably tore some kind of tiny little ligament and she just needs to rest for a couple days. And he then gives her like a mysterious shot and says like it should make her feel better. And he also gives her very, very specific instructions to eat like a bland diet. And he talks about having red wine with dinner every night. I think it has something to do with like anemia type of situation.
So he's like telling her to eat less and drink more, and he's basically giving her
I want to fuck you up.
He's giving her Ozempic.
Yeah. As she's in the infirmary, she then finds out that Olga has already brought her bags back to the school. So now she's like trapped there and she's no longer going to be staying with Olga on the outside.
Which is like so weird. And we never really find out more about the why or anything. Just this is what's happening. Just there's something so terrifying about a boarding school infirmary, specifically a hypersexual co-ed boarding school.
Yeah.
That dances.
Because we don't realize that there are actually men.
They're boy dancers.
Yeah.
This is center stage.
Oh my God, I love that film.
Me too.
Jesus Christ. Then later, Susie laments to Sarah that she really doesn't want to stay at the school and feel like a 10-year-old boarding school student, and that, you know, she's feeling completely normal now and she thinks everything is okay. She also then tells Sarah that she was seen by Professor Vertigast, which Sarah has a very weird and almost like surprised reaction to. Like, oh no, he was the one that saw you.
But Susie says, I feel great though. Like she says, I already feel better.
Tip-top. Yeah. One thing I want to point out here too, and it's such a small thing, but it's going to come into play a little bit later, is that while Susie and Sarah are talking, Pavlo, or
Pavlov?
I was like, what are we calling him? Pavlov.
Yeah.
He interrupts and he brings Sarah back a lighter that she has that he seems to have an interest in. And it's like this cool little lighter that almost has like a clock on it, kind of.
The way he presents this lighter is so Nosferatu-like.
Yeah, it's very weird. It's going to come into play later. He has like a special like interest in it. Then, you guys, we're going to get into kind of a crazy little scene here. While Susie and Sarah are getting ready separately for supper, and I don't know if we mentioned it just yet, but basically, Susie and Sarah are kind of like roommates. Like they have different rooms, but they're separated by just a door. Mm-hmm. They were roommates. Anyways, and they're getting ready for supper separately when a few maggots start actually falling on them from the ceiling. And at first, it's just like unnoticeable. Susie's brushing her hair. And then suddenly there are literally like thousands, like it's raining fucking maggots.
And we obviously think of the same thing.
Go ship, baby.
We love it. My guys just eating their little cans of maggots.
Little sweet angels.
Little sweeties. But they obviously used rice while filming this.
So smart. So smart, because it still equally grossed me out. And I think the producer and I had white rice that night, too, for dinner.
You freak.
Like, I'm a freak for having white rice for dinner.
Whenever you're going to eat
I'm always eating something weird when we're watching
it's always
one of these
like
movies.
A pasta or a rice. Mm-hmm. Rice is new. Pasta. I feel like you're always eating pasta.
I'm always like, oh, do you want to watch something that has so much blood in it and eat spaghetti?
Yeah, sure. I want to eat intestines.
No, you bitch.
Psycho.
So we find out that the maggots, like the whole thing, it just starts infesting the entire building. And all the students come out of their rooms. They're all like freaking out. It's kind of a funny scene.
It's like in Revenge of the Nerds when all the girls discover that they're being spied on and they run out and they're naked and running out into the hallway. All the girls in this movie are running out and they're covered in maggots. What I thought was interesting is the maggots are like on the girls, like as if they stick to you, like ants would stick to you or something. I don't think that's how it works.
Well, they kind of do have little like creepy legs. Yeah. Ooh. Yeah, they're gross, dude. They're gross.
Well, they be on these girls.
Yeah. Miss Tanner is immediately like, what the fuck? And she goes to investigate the attic.
I'm sure you noticed this, but the attic be blue. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if we ever get clarity, but what's the difference between the blue and the red lighting?
We do find out that technically the maggots came from some expired food that was in the attic. And this is also what the staff tells everybody that caused like the maggot issue. But we don't get clarity of like, okay, wait, did Miss Tanner know about the maggots? Is this part of the witches thing? Or were the maggots just a complete weird coincidence meant to bring something weird and unsettling into this movie?
That's a great question. And again, like many things, we don't get any resolve.
Yeah, we don't have any idea. As a result of this whole maggot infestation, everyone is temporarily moved into a communal sleeping area in the practice room. And I love this scene, and I'm sure you do too, because of all the lighting in it. So basically, all the boys, they set up cots for like everyone. And there is a boys section and a girls section, and they're separated by big sheets that are almost like projector screens, like bordering the entire girls area. And there are these like lights behind them, these red lights. It just, again, feels vibey and like you're on drugs.
It's like they turn off all the lights all at once. So it goes from like FEMA center, lights go off, sex dungeon. Like it gets real sexy real fast.
But nothing happens.
Nothing happens.
Just the atmosphere feels sexy.
It's the lighting and the shadows. As soon as those lights went off and the red went up, I was like, okay, cell block tango. Pop
like,
six, swish, Cicero, lip shits.
You're like, what is happening here?
What is happening? And when the guy pops up over the guy's side.
Mark. Yeah.
Oh, was it Mark?
It's Mark.
Mark pops up over the guy's side and he says something to the girls. And I'm like, let's go. Let's fucking go.
As they're laying there, though, Sarah tells Susie that the teachers actually don't stay at the school, apparently, and that they usually leave after about 9:30 to go back to their own houses in town, which is kind of weird. And this entire sequence, it just feels so like bizarre and random, and yet somehow kind of increases just this sense that something's like deeply wrong. I mean, here we are on is it still day 1 for Susie? Technically. And she's like already had to deal with like so much weird shit. And so as they're sleeping or trying to sleep, Sarah hears some weird snoring. She wakes up Susie to listen herself.
Though she does point out that the snoring is almost like animalistic and in like whispery, but Sarah is going on and on about how this is the directress, and I'm like, how are we supposed to know who the
This is the first time we were hearing the directress.
Bitch, we don't know who the directress is. Tell us why she's important. But she's like, the directress. Anyways, the directress is snoring. And by the way, this is why I had a single room in college. You can avoid these things.
Well, and she tells Susie this weird story from when she slept in a room in a different part of the academy at one point, and the directress was snoring in another room right next to her, and it sounded exactly the same. So Susie is pretty confident that the person she's hearing snoring behind the other side of the curtain, whatever, is the directress.
That's great. Why does it matter?
Why
the fuck
idea.
do we care?
No idea. Then the next morning, Miss Tanner says that the directress was not there when Sarah asks. And it's just like so funny because it's like, that's it.
We don't care.
Again, there's just no resolve on like what's going on with this directress situation. Then later that morning, and this whole thing is like just so sad. The Academy's blind pianist, Daniel, he is like suddenly fired after his dog apparently attacked little Albert, who you called, what was his name?
Lord Fauntleroy.
I don't know if we mentioned this too, but Daniel, he keeps his dog outside of the academy while he's inside doing his like piano work. And I guess as this little Albert man and the cook, who is also kind of his...
The big baby mama?
Yeah, like babysitter, his keeper. They were walking back up to the academy and his dog apparently attacked Albert. We don't see it, but it is inferred that that's what happened, and that is why Miss Tanner goes ahead and fires Daniel.
Not only does she fire him, she throws his cane.
It's so sad.
Why is that necessary? And
like,
Daniel walks away. He's like, I am blind, not deaf, you fucks.
Yeah, and he calls her a bitch.
Oh, I love that, yeah.
It's like my favorite thing ever.
You go, Daniel.
And that's it. That's all we see of him for a little bit. And then that night when everyone's going to bed, they're now back in their rooms, by the way. So the maggot infestation has all been taken care of. And Sarah comes to Susie's bedside and they listen to see if they can hear the teachers actually leaving the school like they're supposed to. And it's kind of this weird scene because they're trying to listen to like specific footsteps based on where they know certain doors are.
Susie actually says, you can tell they're not leaving. And she's like, Sarah's like, how can you tell? She says, I can tell by the sound of the direction they're walking. And Sarah says,
that is so smart to
that's
like
so smart.
catch on to. I think Sarah says like, well, if they don't leave, then like, where do they go? And
it's a terrifying line.
Yeah. And it seems like this is the first time that they're kind of thinking like, well, shit, like where do they go? Susie then falls asleep while talking to Sarah because Professor Verb, whatever his fucking name is, he told her to drink wine every night. So it seems like it's like, I mean, it absolutely is like fucking her up.
Well,
and
yeah.
It seems very like intentional, almost like they want her to be sedated and just like not with sedated. It, not staying up, not thinking about things, not looking into things.
So what you're saying is give children wine.
Yes.
Got it. This was meant to be a children's story.
This is a podcast about parenting.
Yes. Yes. You're welcome.
Sarah then becomes curious about the staff's whereabouts and she starts counting and like kind of writing down their steps. And I think she's doing this still while she's like next to Susie for the time being until Susie like just fully passes out from the wine. Then later that night, while crossing a pretty large public square, something unseen is kind of stalking Daniel as he's leaving this kind of bar polka place with his pup.
This is one of the scenes where I was like busy taking my notes and I look up and there's like this German dance party. And I was like, what the fuck is this?
I know. I was like, hello, Oktoberfest?
Yeah.
Is this you?
Hofbrauhaus, what's up?
And as they're like walking across this like very empty courtyard, his dog suddenly starts barking at seemingly nothing and won't stop, which is terrifying. And if you're blind, double terrifying.
I didn't even put that together that is so much scarier for him because he's visually impaired.
Yeah.
But hear me out. This scene where he's just walking around the square really confused with his dog is really long. And I understand that specifically in movies like this that are all about the style, that's why they're put in this. But like our millennial ADHD brains are not meant to appreciate this.
You do feel a little bit like, okay, what's the point here? You know?
And I understand the point is that it's art and it's putting you in to what the character's feeling and seeing and experiencing.
Yeah.
But we don't have the attention span for that. Unfortunately, that art is lost.
One thing that does happen in this scene, though, and I don't know if you caught it, I had to actually go back and like replay it a couple of times, but we hear something say the word witch. And it's really quick, it's fast, and but it's so clearly witch. Then like there's this weird sequence too where it's like we get these shots of almost this little statuesque like bird or like mythical creature with wings that's like on the top of one of the buildings. Then it's back at Daniel and his dog, and it just like kind of goes back and forth. And during this scene too, we're like, you know, we're getting these shots of like the building and like all that. I don't know if you noticed this, but there are these shadows, and apparently these shadows are literally like the witches on their brooms.
I did not catch that.
It's so fucking cool. It gives me Hocus Pocus vibes.
Okay, I truthfully was not going to rewatch this, but maybe I'll
now
go
you're
back
intrigued.
I'll go to that scene.
And poor Daniel, obviously he cannot see what's happening, but he senses that someone else is there with him. And then he's viciously attacked and killed by his own dog who turns on him, which is like so fucking sad and so clearly something that was purposefully made to be done by the witches.
Honestly, after seeing this scene and then finishing the movie and then rethinking about this, are the witches able to manifest themselves? We don't, anyway, so many questions, but we don't know why the dog attacked him. Yeah. Still don't know. I want to know what they fed this dog to make it look like it was Daniel. Looked pretty good.
Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. It did not look bad.
I mean,
it looked like a carpaccio, and I do love a carpaccio.
Ew.
Do you know what that is?
Yeah.
You don't like it?
No, I was saying it looks good as far as like it looks like a body meat.
Oh, I thought it was just like yummy.
Now you're ready for a cheese board.
Okay. I'm ready. Unfortunately, to end this scene, officers do kind of show up, but they're too late to save Daniel, and the dog just like runs off. What did you think of this scene? Did it feel just like random? Hey, we need a random death that's not like one of the girls?
I think, again, it was to point out that we don't really know what these witches can do, who the witches are, what they can control.
What's their vibe?
How are they targeting? How are they eliminating these people? Why was Daniel chosen to kill? Who chose Daniel to kill?
No offense, but he's a pretty vulnerable member. He's blind. So, I mean, there's a lot that's left up to interpretation. It's not like he can see shit that's going down. If the witches are worried about him seeing something, that's not an issue, right?
One might argue that being visually impaired gives him more gifts.
No, truly. I mean, I think blind people a lot of times say that they sometimes have their other senses are heightened because of that. But yeah, we don't get any indication of like, did he do something? Did he see something? And again, I might need to just like watch it again to see if there's anything we missed. But like, I feel like we just don't get that answer. Then later back at school, the gals are all talking about Daniel's death now. So there have been it's been I think 2 days. And some of the girls are literally making jokes about there being a hex on the place. So it's like, how much more direct can you get?
These girls are, okay, so this scene is just two girls gabbing about Daniel's death while there's a close-up of this crazy-ass bathroom. I don't know if it caught your eye, but this bathroom has a random, beautiful stained glass window, and it's got a perfectly cut-out window for Susie's face to pop through. Ooh. And they have a tied-up shot of her lips, and they're kind of getting close. It's such a weird scene, but these two girls are just gabbing away about Daniel's death, and they talk about The Exorcist, and I'm like, okay, The Exorcist did come out years before this. Are they talking about The Exorcist or just Anna? Yeah.
Then Susie goes to speak with Madame Blanc about her concerns with Pat's unsolved murder and now with Daniel's murder and attack. And Susie straight up is like, I heard Pat mumbling and I heard her say like a few weird words like secret and irises. Just you can tell that this makes Madame Blanc uneasy. Then later, Sarah tells Susie that she should not have told Madame Blanc about her concerns. Sarah, she seems just in general to be growing like increasingly more suspicious of the academy and the staff, and she shares like some of these concerns with Susie. Sarah tells her that Pat was actually in the middle of telling her something about the academy when Susie had showed up that night, and that's when Pat had left and was frantic and was literally just about to tell her something. I love this part because they're talking to each other while they're swimming in the pool. And just like side note, this pool looks fucking bitchin'.
So sick. Like literally, what in the Hearst Castle? Imagine being a filming a location scout. What a fun job. This pool is immaculate.
I could weirdly see you doing something like that.
That is my dream job. Anybody need a location scout? I'm your girl. This is all I do in my brain is be like, where would this be?
Yeah.
I am on IMDb location section. This is my resume. Hire me.
What's happening?
To go back to this pool, this amazing pool. Also kind of reminds me of the Cruel Intentions pool.
Ooh.
Anyways, I've never been to or held an orgy, but I feel like this would be a great location for one. Talking about being a location scout.
Do orgies happen in pools? Is that a dumb question?
The sky's the limit.
Oh, okay. Right. These two, as they're chatting and just hanging with each other, like they're beginning to compare different strange experiences. So Sarah reveals that Pat had actually been investigating something right before her death and that she was taking notes, and that she suspects that the teachers are hiding a very major secret and that Pat actually gave her her notes. And she then tells Susie that she's only really told one friend everything that she had chatted about with Pat. And his name is Frank. And he's actually in town for a convention, and that she's going to let Susie read the notes later that evening.
Again, this is an example of cool stylistic scene, but totally
irrelevant.
Irrelevant and way too long. But David brought up something to me because you see this scene from a couple different angles, and he's said to me, he's like, yeah, it's kind of pointless unless you're looking at it like you're the antagonist watching the two girls talk. Like it's somebody lurking and watching the girls talk. I don't know if that's true or whatever, but like,
well, we don't know the lengths that these witches can go. Like, can they hear every discussion? Can they see everything? Can they read minds? Like, do they already know? I mean, they have to have known that Pat was on to them. Otherwise, Pat wouldn't have died.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So yeah, that's a really good point. Then later, back in their room, Sarah wakes up Susie, panicking that the notes have been taken. And Susie is back on her nightly fucking, wine bullshit. And she's in her like trance. She's not making a lot of sense. She's falling asleep. And Sarah's like freaking out and trying to show her she has one note left on her, which is just the record of the footsteps she had taken like the previous evening. She asks Susie in this like wine-soaked state, she's like, Susie, do you know anything about witches? And that's really the first time in the film, at least, that we hear the word witch.
Yeah.
Well, besides obviously Daniel's little death in the courtyard.
His little death.
But like we really hear someone straight up be like, there might be a witch problem here.
Something about this scene too is they integrate green lighting into it. And again, we never get clarity about what the lighting signifies, but I'm sure there's intention behind it.
Oh yeah.
And something in this scene made me think that this would be a sick stage play. Like,
oh yeah, absolutely.
The set would lend to a great play. And even like you don't need much. You could exposition points like instead of seeing Daniel die, be like, did you hear about what happened to Daniel?
Ooh.
So I'm lobbying to
get this made.
Even though I didn't really like this movie, I can help get it to a stage rendition.
She's ready. She's ready. Sarah then hears all kinds of murmurs and whispers right outside Susie's door, and then finally retreats back to her own room before someone opens up Susie's door to peek in and check on her. But we don't exactly see who it was. Sarah, though, before she left the room, was able to hide the notes that she had on the footsteps in Susie's nightstand, presumably to like save that for later for her. She obviously does not trust where her notes were previously as they were stolen. Sarah then runs out of her own room and into the halls of the school. She's going to go, I think, and just try to maybe find out anything that Pat had like previously told her and just kind of like investigate for herself.
We keep talking about like a dreamlike or nightmare-like state. Talk about a nightmare-like state. It's kind of, we go into frantic mode, and the colors are it's like dark, shadowy colors. It's very intense.
It's really making you feel those moments of unease and maybe even fear for some people with the use of the color play, right? And the music too. Like I know we mentioned it like more up top more than anything, but like the Goblin soundtrack, it truly hits.
It really hits. Yeah, it definitely does.
Yeah.
And I just thought of something that, you know how in sleep paralysis, your sleep paralysis demons are like shadowy things?
Yes.
So like basically they're just running through sleep paralysis.
Terrifying. Then she finally makes her way up to the attic. I think she's going there more because she doesn't want to get caught like out in the halls, and then probably just has a curiosity of what's up there.
I don't know. It's like when stupid bitches be running up the stairs in horror films.
Exactly. She continues to hear some strange noises, and she sees light also. So she like definitely feels like she's not alone. Like while she's in the attic. Then suddenly she's attacked and cut with a razor, but she is able to kind of hide herself in a nearby closet, and she's able to lock the door. She locks herself in. But whoever attacked her, they're trying to make their way inside. So Sarah piles up some boxes and she tries to escape through a high window. And one thing I want to say about this scene is I think it's really, really funny that the attacker was not able to open this lock. It's like the easiest lock in the world that he tries to pick.
No, it's not even picking a fucking lock.
It's a latch. It's not even a lock.
It's just trying to get a fucking flat knife to move up and down a flat slit. Like, what are you doing, sir?
It is crazy.
I was watching this and I was like, what the fuck? Open it, just push up.
And then this scene, in my opinion, gives me Saw vibes.
Saw and Tales from the Crypt.
Oh my God.
When the razor hallway. Yeah.
Because poor Sarah, as she makes her way through that high window that she was like climbing through, this bitch, she doesn't look down. Is that what you were going to say? You guys should see Allie's face right now. She's like, this bitch.
I get that you're like frantic, but look down.
She jumps into a fucking room full of razor wire.
It's just, okay, and great follow-up question. Why didn't you look down? And why is there a room? Because why would you suspect a room full of razor wire?
There wouldn't be. I tried to even think myself, why would there be wire like this? Okay, this is going to sound weird, but stick with me here.
I'm ready.
I was like, okay, guitar strings, for instance. Like some guitar strings are so thin that they could look like a razor wire in long pieces. But then I'm like, this isn't a fucking music academy. It's a goddamn ballet academy. So then I had to walk myself back. Yeah. And then that's as far as I got.
And then you didn't proceed.
No.
Got it.
I said, I guess it's just fucking another weird thing that is in this film.
I guess Jigsaw is here and setting up booby traps. He's ready to play too.
So freaking poor Sarah, she's then attacked, this poor freaking vulnerable gal, and her throat is just slit open by that same person that had attacked her and was trying to lift a latch in the previous scene. So he can
slit a throat in razor wire piles but not open a goddamn latch.
Truly.
You don't want this man on your team on The Amazing Race.
This scene also weirdly reminded me of like piano wire. Is that what it is? Is it piano wire maybe? No.
I mean, piano wire?
Piano wire wouldn't.
You know what?
I'm thinking of Hereditary.
No, you're thinking of House on Haunted Hill.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Piano wire can fuck your shit up, but so can guitar wire. It's like the same thing, no?
I'm just like curious of what kind of wire that exactly was.
I wonder if they're the same thing.
Okay, is it just me or like why does it feel like every like clue or death or whatever in this movie just like leads to somewhere worse where I'm even more confused?
Literally, just everything is more confusion.
Did you feel like Sarah might survive longer? Because I did.
Well, I want to know who knows what.
Yeah.
Who knows what?
Yeah.
Who's in charge and who knows what?
Yeah, like clearly the notes that were hidden in the nightstand for Susie to find later, obviously a breadcrumb, right? But like I just did not think Sarah was going to die that fast. And I thought she would be around at least a little bit longer.
I mean, something we haven't even mentioned yet, which is my favorite part of the film, is the short runtime. So we're like almost done.
That is
Someone
true.
has
That
to
is
die.
true. Well, and on that note, the next morning, Susie is then looking for Sarah when Miss Tanner comes in to tell her that she had disappeared. But they play it off. Oh, she packed her bags and she left around 6 a.m. And Mark is nearby and he corroborates Miss Tanner's story, saying that he heard a car leave around that same time as well. So it's like, okay, you guys are now we get confirmation as the viewer that like there is sketchy shit going on with Miss Tanner, at least.
It's at least, and again, we don't know who knows what and who's working on what with who.
Then Susie, thank God, has the wherewithal to call Sarah's friend Frank, the one that was in town for the convention. She asked to see if he has seen Sarah anywhere, and he hasn't. So she's pretty concerned.
This scene where she calls Frank, I don't know if this caught you like it caught me. It was so beautiful in such a basic way. It's this black wall with this mirror, like an ornate mirror, and Susie's standing in front of it, and she's wearing this bitchin' kind of like long sweater. It looks like a crochet sweater, and she's wearing brown under it. She's just her great outfit, but mixed with the setting behind it, it just like that's why
just
I say
really beautiful.
Yeah, just the combination of colors and patterns used. I never noticed these things, but this movie really is. It's something Boz Lerman would do, and I feel like Boz is going to direct my rendition of this.
Ooh, okay. Yeah. I'm Boz, excited for that.
You're hired, Boz.
So Susie then meets up with Frank, and she like laments to him about how worried she is about Sarah. And at first, Frank, it seems like he's not being like super dismissive of her, but he's just being pragmatic about the situation and tells her that Sarah was actually one of his patients and that he was, I think, like a psychologist or psychiatrist. And she had had a nervous breakdown after her mother's death. And he also tells her that Sarah and Pat had recently discovered a couple of kind of chilling things about the history of the dance academy. So one of those things was that the academy was apparently founded by a woman named Helena Marcos in 1895, and the locals believed that she was a witch. And she was also, I guess, like expelled from several countries and sometimes went by the name of the Black Queen. And she was expelled from several countries, I think, for kind of similar reasons. She just like was kind of sketch. And then in 1905, she supposedly died in a fire and the school was taken over and became the famous academy that it was at that time. Frank then also tells her, and I wanted to get your thoughts on this, Alice, because I was like, how rude. He basically says that like if you believe in the occult or are interested even in the occult, that you have a mental illness.
Frank is literally so rude in everything that he says about witches.
I'm like, bro.
He says paranoia and magic go hand in hand. Excuse me, Frank, you shut your dirty, filthy mouth.
Yeah, shut that thing.
Or I'll shut it for you because I can either be a witch or summon one, so you better shut your mouth.
You better watch it.
Yeah, you better watch that fucking mouth.
Frickin' Frank. So as they're sitting together, Frank then, he's like about to get up and leave, and he introduces Susie to one of his colleagues who studies the occult. So it's like so funny because it's like, oh, you're basically saying like she shouldn't do this because it basically is like not a good indication of who you are as a person. It means you have a mental illness. And then he's like, oh, by the way, here's my colleague, though, if you want to talk to him about the occult.
I know. He was basically like, witches are bad, but here you go. Fuck you, Frank.
He says, I think it's Professor Milius. He says, will you tell her something about the mysterious? Which I'm not going to lie. I do like that line.
He wrote that down and I was like, oh my God, tell me something.
Yeah.
I have to note as I say that, Frank is kind of hot. And
why did I feel like you were going to say that?
He's actually played by Udo Kier, and he's a famous German actor.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, big famous German actor. Kind of a Scream King, kind of.
Okay.
But he can show me something magic if he wants to.
You can show me something mysterious.
Yeah, show me something mysterious.
So Professor Milius, he then goes on to tell Susie that witches will cause death and sickness and have basically nothing but bad intentions, at least from the ones like he's studied, which like, okay, also kind of rude.
That is the rudest thing I've ever heard. And do you recognize Professor Milius?
I don't.
He is played by Rudolf Schundler, and he was in The Exorcist.
Who was he?
He plays a man named Carl.
Carl!
I don't remember him, but David told me. Thanks, David.
Hell yeah.
Told you he's better than IMDb.
I love it. One thing, though, that Professor Milius does do is that he reinforces Frank's story about Helena and says that she was evil. She also then learns about covens and how they get their strength from their leader. And that's kind of setting up this story to say, figure out who the leader is and then kill them.
Yeah, he says basically they'll all die once their leader is eliminated. Professor Milius and Frank can go fuck right off. And Professor Milius says the goal of a witch is to create personal wealth at the detriment of others. And I want to tell you, Professor Milius, you tell that to my Etsy witch.
Yep, that's right.
You tell that to my Etsy witch.
Yeah.
Fuck right off.
Then later that night, Susie, she actually skips her wine with her dinner and goes looking for Mark. And when she doesn't find him or anyone else, honestly, for that matter, she asks the housekeeper cook lady, like, where everyone is. And she's like, oh, everyone has gone to the theater. But like, okay, she didn't get an invite, but literally everyone is gone. So she just accepts it. And it seems like also that the staff are probably setting things up for Susie to get murdered potentially, which we're going to find out a little bit later. So she then calls Frank back and she tries to tell him about the strange things that she's been like witnessing. But as she's trying to explain like what's going on, their call gets disconnected and then suddenly like a storm just rolls in.
I don't know why this bitch still wants to talk to Frank.
He's not going to do anything for you, honey. Susie then tosses like her entire dinner and the wine. And I think that at this point she's like, okay, this is clearly making me feel super weird and out of it at night. So I'm going to take that away. And as she pours it though in the white sink, it totally looks like blood. And I love everything about it.
It reminded me of It.
Yes.
1,000,000%. Yeah.
Beverly. She then thinks that she sees some eyes glowing from like outside of her bedroom window, and she opens the window and a bat fucking flies in and attacks her. This is also kind of a random scene and it's like, whoa.
It's so random. But yeah, she spends a good like 20 minutes fighting a bat in her hair.
It is very long.
And I mean, you can all laugh, but try having a June bug stuck in your hair. And I can only imagine this. A bat is bigger than a June bug.
Yeah, and you also have the risk of rabies.
She eventually gets it out after struggling, and then she suffocates it. Or she hits it with a...
She crushes it with a stool.
Like, why not just leave it or walk away?
That's what I thought she was going to do, to be completely honest.
Why kill
I thought she was going to put this little towel over it and then be like, okay, that's it. Then while she's sitting there smoking a cig in her room, she pulls out the note finally that Sarah had left in her nightstand, and she tries to like make sense of it.
So this is going to be the second time in 2 weeks saying this, but she looks really cool with a cigarette in her hand. Should I take up smoking?
No.
Got it. Cool.
She then starts remembering the sequence of footsteps from the teachers that she was previously talking about with Sarah, and that they didn't leave school at all. And like, that's why they talked about the footsteps, like even in general. And she like kind of even says, I can find out where they're going by counting their footsteps. So she does just that. She leaves the room and she starts exploring the hall. She has her little note, from Sarah, and she's just like trying to get some answers on like what the fuck is going on.
I can say this about this whole movie. All of the shots are cool, but this shot of her walking down the hallway in her heels stuck out in my brain as particularly bitchin'.
Yeah, no, totally. She then finds herself at a door that leads to like another hall. And it seems like, a hall that she's definitely not familiar with and not one that's maybe given a lot of public access at the school. And she then hears like laughing and talking, but she walks by a room and it seems like it's just like the cooks, the housekeepers. And she sneaks past them.
I don't know why these little two housekeepers made me chuckle. They're just these two larger, older women who are just like having a great time laughing with each other in the kitchen. This removed me. Talk about removing me from something. Just like the lighting kind of does.
You're like, I love them.
I love them. I want to hang out with them in the kitchen.
Susie then finds a room with like a lot of ornate decor, some couches. It's like carpeted. And she realizes like that she has counted herself exactly where the footsteps stop. And she realizes, like, because of the carpet, obviously she's not going to hear any more footsteps.
Yeah, we see this movie in closer to the beginning of the film. It's when after we discover that all the maggots have infiltrated the house and all the women have gotten ready for dinner. So they're all in like their ball gowns. And it looks like to me an oval office of sorts, like a lady's oval office. And it's the headmistress's office. And they're all dressed up in their ball gowns sitting there talking about maggots. But now Susie found herself back in this office.
Yes.
And all the lights are like dim because there's no one in there, right? But this beautiful ornate office is Madame Butterfly. What's her name?
Madame Blanc. Or Butterfly.
Damn.
Whatever you want.
That's her office, and that's where these footsteps.
Okay. I didn't even catch that. So that's, good little detail. Susie then remembers Pat's final words before her death and realizes that they had referred to some kind of hidden entrance inside of the academy. It's crazy because in this little office, she starts to come to with exactly what Pat said. And she said, 3 irises turn the blue one. And what do you see on the wall is irises, and there is one that is blue.
But this is where I got maybe this is on purpose too. But when I was hearing irises throughout this entire film leading up to now, I was thinking about eyes because we keep seeing eyes. So I don't know if that was intentional to confuse us, but
yeah,
here
probably
we are.
was because you thought that and I thought flowers, like immediately.
Oh, you
did? Weirdly, because I'm not even like particularly fond of irises, but
not irises,
not the freaking irises.
Somehow she's like, okay, blue irises, and she sees blue iris on the wall. She turns it, and then she enters this crazy ass hallway, another crazy ass hallway. And now this is getting to the point where we're just in Willy Wonka's mansion. What the snozzberries taste like snozzberries,
and it's decorated differently. It feels like slightly more sinister than anywhere else we've been before in the academy. Yeah, it's very definitely spooky and feels like bad vibes. Susie discovers that in this like secret part of the academy, this is where the witches meet. She sees Miss Tanner in the background of like one of the rooms and can tell that all of like the leaders of the academy are meeting there. And then she hears Madame Blanc just straight up talking about her, saying that they need to get rid of her. They're like, we got to do something about the American girl. And she keeps saying, like, repeating herself, she must vanish. She must die.
This is such a weird scene too, because it's like, I don't even know how to describe it. It's what I can describe it as is Miss Tanner, Madame Blanc, Lord Fauntleroy, and some random bitch sitting at the end of this like crazy ass hallway. And Madame Blanc is sitting on a throne and the rest are surrounding her. She's holding a shiny dagger thing. And it's just a weird setup. Like it's very disarming. Is that the word? Unsettling. Yeah. It doesn't look right.
Yeah.
And they're all wearing black except for Lord Fauntleroy, that little fucker.
And then she just straight up witnesses Madame Blanc like summoning Helena, that crazy witch, to give her power, wishing Susie to get a sickness. And it's like weird because she does something and then all of a sudden we get a shot of Susie and it kind of like makes her feel a little weird immediately.
And we see her react to feeling weird and little fucking Fauntleroy narcs on Susie to Pavlov. He's like, hey, Pavlov, fucking Susie's back there.
Yeah. As she like turns around to try to leave, she finds Sarah's poor bloody body like right behind her with fucking needles in her eyes and her palms are like nailed down. And
do you wonder if they painted that actress's eyes and like?
I think so, 100%. Yeah. Then Pavlo, he starts to walk towards her and he's holding Sarah's lighter, that one from the beginning of the film that he was so fucking fond of. And it's just like, he just kind of is like holding it at her while it's lit.
Again, he's very Nosferatu-like.
It's such a weird scene though, because I don't know if it's very clear to you, but like it weirdly seems like he doesn't actually know she's there because she's able to walk into another room. And this room just has some like dark decor. No one seems to like really be there. But then she hears snoring. And it's like, I feel like Pavlo, he could have just come in to get her, but then he just stops.
I'm not exactly sure.
But like you said something earlier about like he was kind of seemed like fond of Susie. So like maybe he, I don't know.
I think he did during that first interaction on the stairs. Yeah. He seemed to like smile at Susie. To me, it seemed like, oh, he might be sweet. You know how in a houseboy gets cute on some of the girls? Mm-hmm. Maybe he's feeling soft on Susie.
That could be it.
And he doesn't want her to get in trouble. He doesn't want her to fucking die.
Yeah. As she's like in that room, she starts hearing snoring. And this is the snoring that she and Sarah had heard previously when all the students had to sleep in the practice room. And she accidentally then like knocks over a vase full of like, I could only describe them as like arrows, they kind of looked like.
It's an ornamental.
Or is it knives or like, I don't know.
She knocks over an ornamental peacock that also knocks over something.
She then fucking encounters what she thinks is Helena Marcos, the Academy's founder, or AKA the directress, as we find out.
It's like a visual would be you enter the princess's castle and the princess is asleep behind the drawn curtain bed.
Yeah.
And so Susie walks into this room and we expect what is her name? The mistress?
The directress.
The directress, we expect her to be behind the curtain snoring. And we don't know what this bitch looks like or is supposed to look like, you know? But we're hearing the snoring and then we're hearing the directress say this crazy ass shit. She is not feminine. No. She sounds like Danny DeVito as the penguin.
Oh my God, stop. Why would you say that?
Because it's what she sounds like.
That's my worst fear.
And it's like, it's turned into, it almost turns into a different film because with the other, like up until now, it's like the lighting and shadows and sexy. Now it's just like frantic Danny DeVito, like, come at me, bitch.
Well, and then Susie's like ready to stab this bitch. So, because she sees her shadow, like you were saying, kind of behind the curtain. I also love films that parody this, like Austin Powers.
Yeah.
Anyways, just had to throw that out there. But she walks like towards it. She's got this like arrow knife thing ready to go. And she pulls the curtain, but Helena isn't there. And then, like you were saying, she's just saying some crazy shit. Like Helena's like telling her she's going to kill her. She's like laughing maniacally. She says, "You're going to meet death now, the living dead." Suddenly, Sarah's body then comes bursting through the fucking room, ready to attack Susie. Very Deadite-like.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Like I said, this movie turned into a different... I was like, what in the Deadite? Is this Evil Dead? What the fuck's happening? It literally went from 0 to what the fuck.
Yeah.
Again, necromancy? Where are we?
Then, though, Susie is able to turn around and she stabs Helena without even fully seeing her. She kind of sees like weird little outlines of her. And then it fully just like reveals like her frail body.
So what I was expecting some kind of sexy Madame Bathory shit. You know, we're witches. I'm going to drain your blood so I can be pretty for forever. It's a dance academy, right? Who are these sexy dancers protecting? This crusty ass bitch?
Okay, can I offer an alternative thought?
Yeah.
I don't know why, but when I first heard her snoring in the gymnasium, I'm like, there's no way that's a sexy bitch. And I mean that as a sexy bitch that does snore. Occasionally, I've been known to snore.
Yeah, I know. I was not saying that.
Yeah. I don't know why. Just the way she was snoring, I think it just gave me like grandmother or like a little on the older side. I can't like describe how I know that.
Absolutely.
But you were still like, it's a bait and switch. Like now we're going to see this like hot ass little witch.
The storyline doesn't lend to crusty bitch. It lends to like sexy seductress.
Well, and we don't know anything too about this witch other than like, so what's the point? Like if is she just frail and getting older? Does she do like a hocus pocus thing where
great
she
question.
Takes from the youth?
How about we wrap this movie because we're basically
okay,
done.
Sorry, yeah.
And then we'll ask our questions.
So the Academy then just starts like absolutely collapsing around Susie, and the deaths of the witches start to like also trigger some like chaos around the building. And because the directress was stabbed, like that does in turn like kill all the other witches. It's just like it's kind of crazy. And then the last scene here is we have Susie who barely escapes the Academy as it's literally like falling apart and on fire. And rain just starts pouring from the sky, just as it did in the beginning. And for the first time, I think in this entire film, we actually see her smile. And the film just like ends with Susie like walking into the storm.
It literally fucking ends. She walks away with a burning building behind her like a badass, but it fucking ends. What the fuck happened to Olga? Nobody danced. What did we just watch?
What were your final thoughts on this film?
I wrote in all caps in my notes, wow, they didn't even dance. They were in a room wearing leotards, but they didn't even dance. Dakota Johnson practiced ballet 2 years before her Suspiria, but they didn't even dance in this one. What is going on, girls? That's in our section that says final thoughts, that's what it says.
I love that.
So
I love that.
That's what I think. And it is a heavy hitter in and of itself. Obviously, it kind of sprouted a bunch of different styles. And so we definitely needed to talk about this, but like, what the fuck?
I like this film in the same way that I liked Possession for how out there it is. You know, do I need this like big plot and character development and all of that? I mean, no, I guess I don't need it. I was definitely questioning myself a lot while like watching this. I think overall, I see the appeal. I'm still not 100% a lover. I'm really excited, though, to see the 2018 one now because I've heard really great things about that in comparison to this.
I've heard the opposite. I've heard so many mixed things. I've heard so much back and forth about opinions between the two. And I'm not trying to pit the two against each other. I could hate both.
You know, that is true. Yeah, and you could love both, you could hate both, or you could have reasons to love and hate either one.
And again, I can appreciate this movie for what it is. And in a not negative way, I think this movie was just pretty. I think that's what it was wanting to be and meant to be, and it is pretty. It's beautiful.
It accomplished that,
It accomplished the beauty that it was seeking. Again, I feel like the story was the accessory to the style. Regardless of any of that, I don't think Dakota Johnson needed to practice ballet for 2 years.
I guess we'll see when we watch it.
That is so true.
One other thing I want to say about this is that I do think this was a necessary film for you and I to see, especially just being horror lovers in general. And like, I feel like I sort of have just one more film under my belt that is a little bit more on the obscure side and one that people maybe are a bit like more divided on. And I'm glad that we've like exposed ourselves to it.
And have that frame of reference because it's a base film. It's like it's an important movie in horror.
Yeah, it is. It is very foundational. Definitely.
Foundational. Why can I never think of that word? God damn it.
Well, everyone, that was Suspiria of 1977. You can find us on TikTok, Instagram, and Letterboxd at Spooky Chicks and Horror Flicks. If you'd like some bonus content, please come on and join us in our Spooky Chicks social club over on Patreon. Please subscribe and rate us 5 stars wherever it is that you listen. But you guys know the best way to support us is just by sharing our show with another friend who loves horror. And with that, Madame Allison, would you like to close us out?
Never trust a ballet school with a body count. Just try Pilates and have a Sean Paul summer. I mean, stay spooky, fuckers.